I'm an autism mom, and sometimes I wonder if I still exist. Not as a caregiver, not as a diagnosis manager, but as me. No one talks about what this really takes from you. The emotional burnout that no one believes because you keep functioning. The endless school meetings where you sit alone while other parents pretend everything's fine. Like you're not fighting for basic dignity every single day. You love your child more than breath. But some days, loving this deeply feels like it's slowly erasing you. You smile so they don't ask questions. You say, I'm okay, because you don't have time to collapse. People call you strong, but strength shouldn't feel like this much abandonment. And that's why this space isn't about your child today. It's about you. The woman who became the safety net and forgot what it felt like to fall. Autism Motherhood is Sacred, but it's also breaking women in silence. So let me say what no one ever does. You matter. You're allowed to feel this, and you don't have to do it alone anymore. It's 2 a.m., and you're awake again, not because you want to be, but because your mind won't stop spinning, because your body forgot what rest feels like, because there are days when loving this much hurts more than you can admit. You stare at the ceiling, tears pooling in your eyes, and wonder silently, does anyone see how much I'm disappearing? You're exhausted, but no one notices, because you keep doing it all. You soothe, organize, protect, explain, anticipate, interpret, while the world only sees your child. You've become the floor beneath everyone else's feet. The quiet translator of love that never stops moving. But who translates your pain? The hardest part isn't the physical exhaustion. It's the weight of pretending. Smiling when your soul is screaming. Saying, I'm okay, when everything inside is unraveling. Hearing you're so strong and feeling even more alone. Because sometimes you don't want to be strong. You just want to be held. To fall apart without being judged. To disappear and still be loved. No one saw what happened today. No one heard the screaming. No one felt the sting of those judgmental looks. No one held you afterward when your child melted down in public and your heart shattered into pieces again. You swallowed it all, into your tight shoulders, into your clenched jaw, into your trembling breath. This isn't just tiredness. This is emotional burnout. The kind that rewires your nervous system, where even silence feels too loud. You walk on eggshells in your own home. You rehearse answers in your head because the wrong word could set off a storm. You live in a state of permanent alert, pretending to be calm while drowning inside. And still, they say, you're doing amazing. But they don't know you cried in the bathroom with your hand over your mouth. That you forgot the last time someone looked at you and really saw you. That you've stopped dreaming. That this isn't stress, this is invisible exhaustion. And no amount of sleep will ever be enough when your soul is the one that's tired. I didn't become this mother by choice. I became her because I had to. The woman I was before, the one who had space to breathe, to dream, to be. She didn't survive the weight of this life. Atypical parenting doesn't ask who you are. It tells you who you need to be. And so I adapted. I shifted. I erased parts of myself that didn't fit the new script. I stopped doing my hair. I stopped texting back. I stopped thinking about the future because it scared me. I began saying no to invitations before they even arrived. I built walls around my life, not out of bitterness, but because I couldn't explain what this kind of motherhood costs. This is special needs parenting. And some days it feels like everyone else's life kept going, while mine got swallowed whole. I've missed weddings, birthdays, girls' nights, normalcy. I've skipped vacations because routines matter more than rest. I've sat in parking lots crying after school meetings, wondering if I'm doing any of this right. I don't need pity. I need people to know that this love is heavier than anyone warned me. That being a mother of an autistic child means being both shield and target. That every smile you see is built on 100 hidden battles. I didn't know that self-abandonment could feel so quiet. It doesn't arrive with fanfare. It seeps in when you stop buying things for yourself, when you forget your favorite songs, when you flinch at your own reflection, not in disgust, but confusion. When did I disappear? That's the question no one asks, because everyone thinks this kind of devotion should feel fulfilling. But love without rest turns into erosion. I used to write. I used to laugh from my belly. I used to have opinions that weren't shaped around his needs. But now, I scan every room for triggers. I eat with one hand and Google symptoms with the other. I carry wipes, snacks, backup plans, and guilt, always guilt. And still I hear, "You're such a good mom." But being good has cost me everything that felt like me. And no one even noticed. I am an overwhelmed mom, but I don't show it. I perform calm while my stomach tightens. I manage meltdowns in public with a voice that doesn't match my heart. I carry a backpack of emergency items and an ache I can't name. My nervous system hasn't relaxed in years. I live in high alert, and people wonder why I cancel plans. They don't see the energy it takes just to function. I'm tired of hearing "take care of yourself" from people who don't offer help. Tired of pretending that bubble baths and podcasts fix emotional burnout. Tired of feeling like I have to justify my exhaustion, as if I need permission to be this tired. But I don't want anyone's permission. I want to feel human again. I want to stop surviving. I want to stop disappearing. I want my life to feel like mine again, just for a moment. Sometimes I wonder if the version of me before all this is still in there somewhere, buried under years of responsibility, fear, and invisible exhaustion. I hope she's still waiting for me. I hope she understands why I had to leave her behind. Because this isn't about regret. It's about grief. The grief of everything I didn't choose to lose. And the truth that even the strongest love can't protect us from breaking. I became this mother out of necessity. And I carry it all. The guilt, the shame, the longing, the devotion. But sometimes, late at night when the house is quiet, I feel it again. That question, is this still me? And I don't always know the answer, but I know the ache. And I know I'm not the only one who feels it. I try not to think about the future, because when I do, my chest tightens. Not just with fear, but with grief. Grief for a life that will always require planning, structure, protection. Grief for the milestones that may never come the way they come for others, but mostly fear. Fear of what happens when I'm no longer here. When I'm not around to explain him, to defend him, to hold the pieces of his world together. That question keeps me awake more than any tantrum ever has. Who will love him like I do? Who will understand his rhythms, his fears, his language of silence? Because I've memorized it all. I've become fluent in him. I know what the twitch in his eyebrow means. I know what quiet too long means. I know how to stop the world from overwhelming him. Because I've given my world away to protect his. And sometimes I panic, not from noise, but from what comes after me. From a system that isn't ready. From a world that is still unkind to difference. From the strangers who won't care. From the institutions that only see diagnosis, not soul. What if he's left alone in a world that confuses him? What if his sensitivity is met with rejection instead of grace? What if no one knows how to love him softly? That's when I talk to God, not always with words, sometimes just with tears pressed into my pillow, sometimes with hands clenched over my chest, asking for breath, sometimes with silence, the only prayer I have strength to give. And in those moments, I don't ask for miracles. I ask for strength, for daily strength, for the kind of strength that shows up when I have nothing left to give. Because I know now, this strength doesn't come from me. It comes from somewhere deeper, from God, from the same place that helps sunflowers turn to light even on cloudy days, the same source that holds oceans in their place, and somehow still makes time to hold me in mine. When no one sees, he sees, and that knowing saves me. I don't know what the future holds, and that terrifies me, but I also know this. I was never meant to carry it all alone. This child, this soul was entrusted to me, but he was never just mine. He belongs to something greater, and that greater, that divine, patient, eternal love, walks beside us, even here. Some days I still cry in the shower, begging for answers, begging to know that he'll be okay, that I'll have enough years, enough strength, enough time. And in those moments, I hear nothing but my own breath. But somehow that's enough, because breath means I'm still here. And if I'm still here, I can keep loving him through the unknown. A breath, I didn't know I was holding that finally lets go. That's how he speaks to me, not in thunder, but in tenderness. And in those moments, I remember, my rage doesn't disqualify me. My guilt doesn't make me unworthy. My loneliness isn't proof I'm forgotten. It's proof I need softness and I deserve it too. I used to think the hardest part would be the sleepless nights, the meltdowns, the missed milestones, the confusion, but I was wrong. The hardest part is the world. The way it looks at my son like he's broken. The way it shrinks away from what it doesn't understand. The way people speak louder, slower, colder, as if he's less, as if I should apologize for him. Autism motherhood means learning to read a room before you walk in, scanning for exits, preparing excuses, holding your breath every time he stims, repeats, flaps, spins, cries. Not because you're ashamed, but because the world is cruel. Because adults stare, because kids laugh, because people think they're entitled to comment on what they don't live. And every time it happens, a part of your spirit burns with rage. They don't see the brilliance behind the silence, the softness behind the shutdowns. They don't see how hard he's trying just to exist in a world that wasn't built for his kind of magic. They don't know how loud the lights are, how sharp the sounds feel, how exhausting it is to simply be. And still, they expect him to behave like every other child, to perform for their comfort, to be less different. I've watched teachers roll their eyes. I've seen other moms pull their children away from mine. I've been told he doesn't look autistic, as if autism had a face, as if his worth needed to be proven, as if his soul didn't already carry enough weight. And in those moments, I want to scream, not just for him, but for every child who's ever been made to feel like a burden. I didn't ask for this fight, but now it lives in my bones. It rises every time someone doubts him, every time I have to explain, defend, justify, advocate. I carry records, diagnoses, letters from therapists like armor, but it's not my words I want them to understand. It's his right to exist without apology, his right to take up space, his right to be loved exactly as he is. I'm tired of systems that don't adapt, of schools that punish difference, of doctors who talk to me instead of him, of playgrounds that feel like battlefields. But I keep showing up because no one else will fight for him like I do. Because even when I'm breaking, I refuse to let this world break him. Because this child is not the problem. The world's inability to hold his sensitivity is. And sometimes when I've had enough, I go outside, look up at the sky, and ask, why did you give me this life? And I hear nothing, just the wind, just the ache in my chest. But I also feel it, that quiet fire inside me that doesn't go out, that whisper from God, because you're the one who would never stop fighting for him. So I do. I keep showing up to meetings. I keep writing the emails. I keep standing in front of systems that weren't built for us. I speak when he cannot. I rise when I'd rather disappear. I carry the grief, the love, the rage, the hope, all at once. And I keep going, not because it's fair, but because he's mine and he is sacred. This is for the mothers who never stopped. Not for praise, not for attention, but because they had no other choice. Because the world kept asking and they kept giving, until their backs ached, until their joy cracked, until their names were forgotten even by themselves. But they kept showing up. This is for you. You, who hold meltdowns in your arms like sacred storms. You, who memorize every trigger, every sensory cue, every shift in mood, like your child is your second heartbeat. You, who cry in secret because you don't want your pain to add more weight to theirs. You, who haven't had a full night of rest in years, but still sing bedtime songs. You, who never asked to be a warrior, but became one anyway. I want you to hear me now, not with your ears, with your soul. You are not invisible. You never were. Heaven has been watching you in every room no one else enters. In the parking lot where you cried. In the hospital chair where you prayed. In the 1,000 tiny decisions you made without applause. God saw every single one. And the universe? It's not blind to your effort. It rearranges itself in quiet ways to hold your child and hold you. That gentle breeze through the window, that hug from a stranger, that moment you didn't fall apart, even though you could have, that's the divine whispering. I see you. I chose you. I'm with you. Not because you're perfect, but because you were always the one who would love this deeply. And your child, even if they never say it, even if words never come, their soul knows. They feel the way your hand holds theirs just a second longer. They feel the way you protect them when the world gets too loud. They feel the truth in your tired eyes. You are safe with me, and that knowing lives in them. Forever. This is your reminder. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do it all with grace. You can be angry. You can be tired. You can want to scream and still be full of love. You are allowed to feel it all. Because what you're carrying, it's sacred. It's hard. It's holy. And it's real. You were never meant to walk this alone. And even now, even here, you're being held. By this voice. By this silence. By the hands of a God who never stopped watching. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are the quiet miracle that holds a whole universe together. And we see you now. If this reached something inside you, don't leave in silence. Tell me in the comments. Share your truth. Let this space be your sanctuary. Let it hold you the way you've been holding everyone else. And if no one has told you lately, you belong, even in your silence, even when you feel invisible. You are not broken. You are a sacred fire that burns quietly for someone else's survival. What would change in your life? If you stop pretending you're not drowning, what kind of mother could you become if you gave yourself even half the love you give everyone else? The truth is, you don't need to carry this alone anymore. God sees every effort. The universe is always whispering. Rest, daughter. I've never left you. Speech balloon, tell me below. What part of this video felt like it was written for you? What are you finally ready to say out loud? Headphone, and if this held your heart tonight, don't let it be the last time. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and come back whenever you need a space that sees you.